All right, thanks for making it to Veterans Info Tap. Glad you made it. 5-year rule. Wanted to just do a quick conversation on that, or give you some of my thoughts on it. What's the 5-year rule? What's it all about? Is there some protections there? And the loose answer is yes. The big idea is always do a little bit extra yourself to ensure that you're always protected and taken care of. So now let's get into the 5-year rule. So the 38 CFR, which is the Code of Federal Regulations for the VA, basically the VA's playbook, under the reexaminations area, it will have a spot in there where it talks about that there will be no future exams, basically requested or required, if you have either static conditions, right? So 5-year rule doesn't even apply if your condition's static. So always have that in the back of your mind. Have those conversations with your doctor. And this is kind of the prepping for that 5-year mark. When you get your claim fully adjudicated with the VA and the VA says, hey, here's your percentages, right? Once that happens, in some cases, they're also going to throw out, hey, you're going to have a future exam. And that future exam is going to be within 5 years, right? Usually it's a 3-year, maybe a 4-year, pushing it out, because the VA thinks that there may be a possibility that that specific condition is going to get better prior to 5 years. And they're doing it prior to the 5 years because of the 5-year rule. So during this period of time, you should absolutely be going to the doctor, whether it's civilian or VA, and having conversations. And if your condition is not getting any better, make sure you're having those conversations and make sure that the doctor is annotating that in your record, so that way you are building evidence for your benefit in the event that you need to go through any more C&P exams, which in this case, I mentioned the future exam. So basically, you would be proving that your disability is a static condition. And if it's a static condition, in the Code of Federal Regulations, again, under reexaminations, it says no future exams should be requested or required or what have you if your condition is considered static. So if you can prove it to the VBA that it's static, based on your doctor's information, you should be good there. Now, the number 2 line in that same section in the Code of Federal Regulations, there is discussion about the 5-year rule. And loosely what it says is other exams, if you have other exams or hospital records that have persisted without material improvement to your condition, so in other words, you've stayed steady, these conditions have kept you on just a straight path or actually getting worse, for a period of 5 years, then the VA should not be asking for any future exams of you. So just another way that the VA has to jump another hurdle to re-examine you over the 5-year period. So if you, again, over the 5-year period, your condition has not shown any sort of improvement, really, then they should not be requesting those future exams, which essentially that's basically stating that your condition has now become static. So in order to reduce your rating, let's say that the VA, it's at the 5-year mark or over the 5-year mark, and the VA is now looking to try to reduce you for some reason. It's a higher bar that they must get to. They can't just willy-nilly jump in there. There's extra steps, right? They have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt in a way that your condition has actually gotten better. So one of the things is they have to show that the improvement is not just temporary, right? It's not just hey, I've had a bout of good days, They have to show that it's not just a temporary improvement. And they'll do this with the C&P exam, so you will have that conversation, which means, again, anytime you have a C&P exam coming up, you need to be refreshing yourself with the schedule of ratings, because this is what the VA uses to rate you with. So read your condition, the signs and symptoms that warrant whatever rating you're at or above you, and see what's required. And if you meet all of that, you need to make sure that you articulate it to the C&P examiner so they're on the same page as you with where your condition lies, so they can get that information accurately put into your record and sent to the VBA for your claim to get adjudicated. So with that, the other thing that they would need to do is they really need to show that there was sustained improvement. So not improvement once and then you're back to this. It has to be sustained and over time gradual improvement, right? So it's definitely a steeper hill. I'm sure that there's been many people who have had their claims reduced, but it's important to know that these are laws and this is the book, right? This is the regulations for the VA. So if they're not adhering to these things, this is where you come back and you appeal their decision and get it overturned and reversed and back to your favor, right? The VA is absolutely going to make mistakes. They're gigantic. There's a churn of new people and new roles, all of that type of stuff. There's learning curves. You're going to have folks that don't know a lot of this stuff that are working there, and they're pushing buttons and pulling levers and all of that stuff. And you might get caught up in it and end up getting flagged for an exam for, let's just say, a static condition. And if you don't know that static conditions are protected, you won't know to prepare yourself to appeal it if you need to, or somehow maybe even stop it from happening. I don't know how the wheels stop once they start moving. Don't ever miss a C&P exam, right? Because then they'll absolutely rule against you. Now, with that, I'll go ahead and cut it here, but I did want to just chime in a few extra things for you. I wanted to thank everybody for watching the videos and supporting the channel and so forth. Please like, subscribe, share it with a friend, whatever, comment below. All of that type of stuff helps to get this information really kind of seated in the YouTube's algorithms for other of us that are searching. The sad number or statistic that's out there is in the U.S. there's 16,500,000 of us, okay, veterans. We're all brothers and sisters, and most of us that are watching these types of videos are either A, already connected with the VA, or understand the value of the VA benefits that are out there and are preparing themselves for a future claim. Sadly, of the 16,500,000 of us, 73% are not utilizing VA compensation or pension benefits at all. So the more that we can share and like and subscribe and all that stuff, hopefully it will slowly grow and get out to more of us. So with that, thank you very much. I appreciate each and every one of you. And remember, if we don't take care of each other, something went wrong.